Okay, let's discuss higher time frame analysis. From the get-go, I just want to tell you that the higher time frame analysis is we do exactly the same that we do on the lower time frames, meaning looking at the wick zones, at the order blocks, and a few other concepts. We look at the same things, we just look on the higher time frame. So the higher the time frame, the stronger the wick zone, the order block, support and resistance, and other concepts that we'll be looking at, the stronger they are. In this video, we're going to have a brief overview of it, but within the bootcamp, I'm calling it a bootcamp, but it's more like a 3-session, 3-day course. We will be discussing and going into more detail into a higher time frame analysis. So this is just to prepare you for it, and in the community at a later stage, and we will be going through all of the nitty-gritty and all the details with regards to higher time frame analysis. So this is going to be an introduction and just a way for you to see how we will be analyzing the higher time frame. So let's look at this is the daily time frame. I'm starting from the daily and working my way down towards the 4-hour, 1 hour. So I'm just going to outline a few things that we will be looking at. So looking at price going down, let's just do this. Okay, we are, as we can see, we are in a visible downtrend. We are making lower highs. Here we had a nice manipulation, but we are making lower lows and so on. So we are stepping down. It's clear to see that we are stepping down. So by daily standards, we are bearish, but within the pullbacks, we get 1 hour bullish market structure. For instance, this would be, all of this would be a 1 hour trend towards the upside. So if we go on the 1 hour, all of that shaded, all that in the shaded area, you can clearly see that that is a 1 hour trend towards the upside, which was actually just a pullback on the daily. So it's very important to keep your time frames in sync and understand and know where you are within each time frame. We can see that we have a wick zone. And just get that too. We have a wick zone like this going through like this, and if we take it towards the bodies, and we take it towards the bodies, we have this wick zone. We can see price coming to tap this area, this wick zone over there. We have something else here as well on the daily. There's different names for it, but we just call it imbalance. I think that's what most of people call it. Imbalance is basically an area where we have this wick and we have this wick, and price has not traded into this area. So that is then the area of imbalance. Like that. Like this is a concept that will be discussed in greater detail within the live sessions. So we can see price pulling back towards it. Here we, on the daily, remember we're on the daily, we had a clean low. The low was taken out. So we had this low. The low was taken out. We had this push. And then price pushed up into this imbalance, which is also for me a wick zone. As you can see, we have wicks from the bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top. Perfect wick zone overlaying with an imbalance level, and that is then where price is drawn to. We come back into this level, respect it, push to the downside, into this level, respect it, and pushing to the downside. So this is now all concepts on the daily. So if you have this in mind and you drop to the lower time frame, that is then where you will look for more detail. So in this area, if we drop to the 4 hour, let's just take this away. What do we see on the 4 hour? Well, this first sell-off, we can see on the 4 hour, we have an order block as well. So we know this is an imbalance, but let's just make it a bit clearer. Let's define it better. So we have that imbalance, but then we also have a 4 hour order block. So then we have a 4 hour order block plus daily imbalance. So now already the odds are stacked in our favor, and we can see how price came into that darker highlighted area. So let's just go back again. Now onto the 1 hour. What time is this? London Open started. I'm not exactly sure what the daylight savings time was for Feb, but between 9 and 10 was London Open, and we had clean highs, and you can see how price broke that area. So you see how everything is starting to layer onto each other. We have the daily imbalance, we have the 4 hour order block over here, we have opening price is pushed up into that area, breaking our previous double top. Remember liquidity and remember finding manipulation. It's all playing out. Dropping to the 15-minute. Oh man, we can't see that far back. Onto the 15 minutes. It is okay. Let's just find our spot again. Here we are. We can go to the 1 hour. We can see price broke it, came back for a retest. In here we would have had opportunities, but unfortunately we can't see that now. And then big push to the downside, price coming back one more time, and then eventually we started dropping towards the downside. So you see how we're blending high time frame ideas with the same ideas, but just on the lower time frame, where we have a level of interest, we have our imbalance level, we have our order block that creates an added area of confluence, and we see price is drawn to it, taps into it, and then we see a reversal to the downside because we are bearish on the daily. The bearish ideas on the lower time frame, they will carry much more weight. Bullish ideas on the lower time frame are less probable. They're not impossible, and we do take those trades as well, don't get me wrong, because we can just see we have this daily manipulation idea, and we have the same idea on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour time frame. We can see that idea playing out as well. And on the 4 hour, we see price then created an order block, pushed away according to the entries. Remember the entries videos. We then have a break of structure, over here, price coming back to retest the order block, and we see price pushing to the upsides. So that could have been a long target on the taking a long as a counter trend trade, but still a 1 hour bullish trend within a bearish market structure on the daily. So you need to blend those concepts, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour. If our daily is bearish, if our 4 hour is bearish, if our 1 hour is bearish, all the probabilities are stacked in our favor. But if we have the daily bearish, but our 4 hour and 1 hour is bullish, we still have two bullish market profiles, so we can then take longs in those days where we have bullishness on the 4 hour and the 1 hour, because we anticipate it as a pullback on the daily time frame. Let's just go back to the daily. I'm going to clear all this up. Now we can see, so where is price drawn to? Price is drawn to the lows. We have this low, so price can potentially reach that low. We have that low, and we have a quick fake out of that previous low. Why this low? Remember the liquidity video, where we have liquidity below these lows. So we had longs and buy stops below this low. Price reaches for it, takes it out, then reaches for the upside. Now we can see we have a wick zone as well over here. So price could potentially reach back into that wick zone. There's multiple wick zones actually. Look at all those wicks. Let's grab most of them if we can. So I possibly want to see price coming back into this wick zone. Price comes back into this wick zone, rejects it, and then pushes towards the downside. We also have an order block over here. There's our order block. So we have a wick zone and an order block all in this area, as well as that same imbalance level over here. Price rejection. Now we have again a low. So we would anticipate price to reach for that low. You see price coming back down, reach for that level, just taps it, and then we see a reaction from that level. And then price starts to trend back towards the upside and eventually breaks it. Now, could this be a potential fake out? Could this potentially be a manipulation profile, as we've seen earlier in the videos? Could this be this? Let's see. Yes, we had to push the upside, didn't hold, and then started pushing towards the downside again. So now it's clear to see on the daily that we are making clean lows and clean lower lows and clean high lows. That is then where we drop, zoom in, and look for order blocks, wick zones, and that's what we have, a wick zone over there. Price just missed this one. We have clean lows over there. So now I'm anticipating, and we have a push to the downside. So potentially, if this is how the day ends, you could potentially expect a small pullback, wick, and then a push towards the downside. We saw that wick towards the upside, and then price pushing towards the downside because we have liquidity below this level. Price rejects it, pushes back up. Now we have an order block over here. So potentially price could reach into this area and then continue towards the downside, or it breaks through. Now we can anticipate price to come back towards this level for a retest. Come now, and then a higher push up, because we have again wick zones up here, and we have an order block up here as well, and we broke and closed above this level. So now we can anticipate price moving more towards the upside. Slow pullback. There we have it. Just to show you that. There's our push back into this area. You will learn about this formation as well, and then price reaching up for that wick zone, and targets are met. So going back, we have this formation. This could scare you because we push all the way up, now coming all the way down. I'm just going to drop to the 1 hour. We still have this area as an area of interest for us, because look at this now. Now we have another low, and now that low is broken, so we could potentially see that low taken out, reached into this level, and then a continuation towards the upside. We see that happening. We see that low taken out, push into it with news. This is definitely news, and all the way up. So if you anticipate the price to reach into this level and you were like prepared for it, for price to reach into this level, this is at 12, this is usually combined with news and price reaching up into this level, almost 100 per move. Even if you saw price moving like this, because we have this daily zone of interest, because this is a daily, we have a daily zone, we can still anticipate price to make a run towards the zone as it did over here, and then move up towards the upside. And that is then what we expected to happen, and that is then how it unfolded. And price, yeah, does whatever price wants to do. Eventually we see price breaking that area towards the upside. Now we have wick zones above, we have order blocks. Let's see, what do we have next? So we created this clean low, and now we can see price might reach for these top levels. You see we have liquidity, liquidity, liquidity above all those highs, because a lot of the people went short from this level, short, short, and short. So we can anticipate price being drawn to those levels again. We already took out this high. We took out this high, so we know this high checked. We have it. Now let's see what the price is doing. You see how price again reaches for this level. Why did price come back all the way down? Well, it's quite simple. We have another order block in here, in the zone. So you can take it from this candle, the down candles, the 3 down candles before the up movement. That is then where we have our order block, and price reaches for it quite perfectly, reaches for it, grabs liquidity, and then pushes towards the upside, making a run for these stops above this level. What do we see next? Price coming back down again, trading towards the downside. So price reached that target, but we did not reach those targets. If price reached for those targets, we would have then turned into a bullish market structure, but price only reaching for this target and not breaking this high, telling me that we are still bearish, still in a bearish market structure. So now price reached for these lows, broke these lows, coming for a small retest, another fake out. So here we have our manipulation. We have this formation that you'll learn. Just make it purple. This candle, you see how price came back, retested it. Let's see what price does now. Backs into it, breaks it, and then retests it again, and then pushes towards the downside. We created a wick zone. Price respected the wick zone, and then we saw price just consolidated, messy price action. So I know this might have been a bit confusing and fast and so on, but the general idea that I want to convey to you is looking at higher time frame order blocks, wick zones, support and resistance, clean highs, clean lows, double tops, double bottoms, looking at those levels, marking them, and then transposing them onto the lower time frames. And then that is then where we look for our buys and sells on the lower time frames, and that is then the more higher probable trade setups when we see price reaching in those levels and in those higher time frame zones of interest. Those are our key levels then, and our key zones, and that is then where we want to see price push into or manipulate into or tap into in our London Open or New York Open. And then we just follow the trail, follow the breadcrumbs, we follow our entry patterns, and we then trade it up until another level of interest. And all of these concepts will go into much more detail into it in the live course, live webinars, live recordings, and there you will learn a lot of new things. It's too much to dive into in just this one video. We need like a longer time. So this is just a basic introduction of what it is and what we will be looking at, just touching the surface. and be prepared to dive in deeper. This is just something to make you excited, and yeah, I hope that you found value in this, and then we'll jump into the next one. Thank you.